and some they turned into states building. But them was our castles long before 1492. So who was savage, right? And because if our women wanted to walk around butt booty ass naked, it wasn't a problem. They wasn't gonna get raped. And you come from a culture where rape is the standard. They come from the club or on the head, drag her in the cave. That's not our MO. That's not our people. That's not our history over here. Marriage is for political moves. It's to tie families together by blood right in their face without them knowing what's taking place. This is why they want everybody to go give up some DNA. Ain't got nothing to do. The test is just for entertainment, and they tell you that right on the package. So anything that's for entertainment can be altered to match the entertaining thing that they're trying to use to entertain you. Once you realize that, then you know they're using your DNA for something else because they know who we are. They ain't never stopped watching us and following us from generation to generation because they know what families and bloodlines they got to try to murder off because they know where the chief's gonna come at. But they not smarter than Mother Nature. She know how to shuffle us around on the land and make one chief that would have born somewhere else be born over here instead. And then, and then he be born here and then he go over there and you don't know he gonna come up and be the boss over there where he at. Big Mama Cindy.
I see.
All over the land. Big Mama boys was sent all over the land. I need you to go wrap this up, clean this up, and get these people straightened up because they got them tore up in such a bad way. So that's what we've been doing. It's been difficult because we have to figure out how to use all of these systems of language and dumb it down to the colloquial language because you have to filter it so people will know what they're doing so you can explain how it works. Elijah Muhammad said you have to make it plain enough for a baby to understand it. And when I realized that by observation, until somebody show you different, the average person is arrested development at 6 years old. So now you got to ask yourself before you get hot under the collar, is you going to stand toe to toe and argue and bicker with a 6-year-old?
That's facts.
Right.
Wow.
I don't argue with women because I'm not a woman. That's simple. I'm not gonna argue with no woman. I ain't no woman. We can talk about it though. I can't argue with you about it because we can't fix nothing. I like to get shit fixed because I don't like to keep going back over something. Right? They use that secret squirrel information by not letting you know the different language. Legalese is not the same as colloquial English, but it's the same with medicalese. That's why you need to go to universities so you can learn the language so you can identify the drug.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. So, as we know, like they put a lot of information right in front of our face,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are the movies that people are super drawn to, Marvel, um, I forget what other
Fantasy superheroes.
exactly. And with these different type of beings. And
Mm-hmm.
so in my opinion, it's the truth and it's reality.
So in the
So,
metaphysical community, sweetie, all of the high priests know this, and all of the Magi, the sorcerers, they all know that in this period we in, nobody was allowed to come in what's called a mythic form, right? They had to come in human suits. You can look at different people and you can see their mythic form peering through their human suit. And they draw them in the animation to show them themselves in mythic form so they can remember which one of the original light sources they came in on. Because that's who sent you to University Earth in order to learn how to balance your God powers and to activate your higher senses by overwhelming your lower senses.
I love this shit. So when we say, because people watching this might just be thinking that we're talking about the superhuman powers that are going on. But when you say mythical, what do you mean by mythical?
So in mythology, you see that you got fairies, you got gnomes, you got Bigfoot looking creatures, you got ogres. All of those things is in human form in this chapter or in this age that we in. Nobody was allowed to come in if they didn't appear to be human, right? So when the fairy come in, she expresses it through the DNA as this little cute, dainty little thing, and everybody love her. You know, it's almost like you could see the sprinkles behind her when she walked. The energy is there, but we don't know that we not coming in mythic form, right? But we came in different ages in mythic form, and we was all type of things from dragons to butterflies that talked and walked on 2 feet, the size of humans. We've been through all of those incarnations. This is a new one for us. And we using the chapter of misery to force us to wake up at the right time. And the misery and the suffering causes the rank and file to call on a more powerful energy than before because this one ain't working. So Mother Nature sends a different person to the different parts of the society to test it to see what need to be fixed. They live the life for the local society in order to catalog the errors, in order to know what to adjust for, the walking mitochondria of the earth. That's going to give the instructions to the T cells that's going to organize the white cells in order to activate the defensive energies, what they call the great cleanup.
Yeah. Yes, let the people know. Let them know, let them know, let them know. Wow, this is exciting. I mean, I could ask questions all night. Like, and then I'm a Gemini, so I could really do this all day.
Oh
But
yeah, especially when you hit that Tupac Kendrick energy.
and spice it up with a little bit of Donald Trump on top, throw some Kanye in there. Ah, well, so let's close it out with this. So, what is something that you would really urge us, because there are so many people that are still operating in this system that still are caught up in the paperwork. We have people that are waking up to it but still going out and filling out the paperwork saying that they're not a citizen, and
Do you
becoming
know what a
third
trap in that?
parties.
You know what a trap in that is? They let you in for so long, and then they clamp down on you and say you was committing fraud. All you gotta do is talk to the brothers in the federal penitentiary, and you know why they're there. It's a trap, slave trap,
That part.
because you'll end up enslaved following that pattern. They didn't already showed you that. Rise of the Moors. They showed you. You know, if you don't have the means to defend, then you can't demand.
Mm.
If I can't protect my wife, I can't demand her to stay away from that other nigga that can. I look like a damn fool because I'm a damn fool at that point. But if I know I can protect her, I can demand her to remain in her place. Go in there and relax, put your feet up, you at home now. But if she don't feel safe, she ain't finna stay there. She gonna find every excuse to go somewhere. Home is a safe place. But when you bring terror to the home, you disrupt the nation. That's just the way it is. And I don't mean nation paperwork wise.
That part.
I mean nation as in natal, as in from the mother. But they use it in their uniform commercial code because the national status is the same status as a ship. It's done that way on purpose.
So would you just
Because all
go ahead?
because all of us supposed to be lost ships, lost vessels. This is why we declared us civilly mortis. Dead in the eyes of the law. We outlaws. We baby kids.
That's it. We don't die, we multiply. We keep multiplying, honey. We keep multiplying.
And every time they try to burn us out, snuff us out, we scatter like bees and form in more places than we was when they started. They try to hold us down, but they can't hold us back. As soon as we realize that, then we started to see the ones that's holding us back. They look like us, but they ain't us. And they hiding behind people that don't look like us, that they had doing their form.
Big God. So
All they head on the chopping block the same, as far as I'm concerned.
that's it. So what a good recommendation for people to actually go back in our culture and get familiar with our great laws. You know, the laws that
A good start. See,
you breaking up. Say that again.
I said a good start would be that Iroquois Confederacy document because it's more tribal related than the United States Constitution. And it's more detailed and has more information as to how we was running tribal confederacies back then.
Okay.
Those were peaceful tribes working together, and when the settlers came, they didn't trust us, so they wanted everything in written agreements, which compelled us to write agreements among tribal confederacies to show the people that need the written agreement that we already have a system set up. It's on paper. This used to be passed down orally, right? And the chiefs and the medicine men used to orally give it to the developing chief in parts. As he grows older, they would recite it to him over and over until he memorized it. The same as the Hafiz do with the Qurans in Islam. They used to be the same. Those were tribal grids. But now they gave them a story to tell that's not the tribal stories of the people of the land in order to trap them under a false identity, using their belief in the creator to exploit them. Straight back to the Catholic Church. So they took what was their natural tribal sciences and they wrote a similar science as their natural tribal science, but they wrote it in the Christian styling to subvert them to a Christianized version of their tribal doctrines. And the keeper of this information used to be the successor, or what they called the Khalifa, which formed something called the Caliphate, which was the doctrine carriers to protect the secret that the Catholic Church is behind the creation of modern Islam that usurped the tribe's natural um, tribal ways. And that's why they destroyed the tribal confederacy of Tehillim, a family relic that represent the family that was in the black box, right? It used to be 360 tribes in the Confederacy. That's why they said it was 360 idols in the Kaaba. And they destroyed them all except one, Allah,
Mm.
which is really Allah. But the patriarchy was usurping and actively usurping the matriarchy. So the mothers taught the sons to become the Sufi. And you have the Sufi order of the red light and the Sufi order of the green light that teach two different forms of Sufism. That's the tribal system to break the spell at the appropriate time to close the age. All of the spiritual dances that the women did to raise the earth frequency to make heaven on earth was practiced now by men who couldn't maintain the frequency longer than 10 to 15 minutes after the ritual, where the woman can walk in the energy for days or even months without having to do the ritual again.
This shit is deep. Okay. So, for those of us that are interested in study, because there are many people who, are just now becoming privy to this information. And of course, there are a lot of things that we do naturally, that we've been taught are ghetto, ratchet, that are a part of just our traditions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as structure, because one thing that has been lost and may take some time to get back is the family structure and communal living. The community has just been
So
so
go to the village. And
right.
they say it take a village to raise a child. Um,
Exactly.
that's going to be up to families, friends, and associates to form them alliances. You start where you at first, forming those alliances, and the energy you create together. When y'all find out y'all got the perfect balance of energy, you collectively relocate on the family village.
Beautiful.
That's how you do it. That's tribing up. And they keep the harmony in the new village. That's why people, birds of a feather, flock together. Like-minded people join together to perform the same accomplishment. They're trying to accomplish the same goal. Then they're more apt to follow through than the person that's doing something that he don't really want to do.
Exactly.
That's why you. That's why it look like sometimes our family members hate us. No, they don't hate us. A lot of the elders be trying to push hold on to the child because they don't trust that shit they taught them that they learned in the church. So it make them try to micromanage their adult child and become overprotective of the child, smother the child becomes spoiled like a bruised apple. But don't nobody notice the bruise, so the child go on to continue to rot. right? But when the mother is allowed to be in her feminine mother mode, that's the highest frequency on earth a woman can be in. And that's why the food tastes better, smell better. The people that don't like cooking for their family, that food be horrible.
Yeah.
But that woman that's in that's why everybody want to go to Big Mama house. She throw down because she loves feeding her family, because her feeding her family feeds her soul.
Yes.
And this is how you get soul food.
Yes.
Frequency. She can go in there with a little bit of nothing to come up with a whole lot of something.
A whole lot of something. We making magic, okay?
Do you believe in magic?
That's
In
it.
a young girl's heart, do you believe in magic?
That's right. So yes, thank you for this. I believe that, on a lot of these platforms, the misunderstanding is so much of the programming that we have been through. We want to study, we want books to teach us how to become ourselves, you know, like how do we get back to being the original people? And I think what is being missed from a lot of what you're saying is the spiritual aspect of it, which is once we really start to even just take the first step to stepping into our essence, once we recognize, right, we've been woken up and just start to really step into your essence, all of this shit just falls into place. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
what that kind of internal, those internal mechanisms can't be taught to you in any book. You can't study it. Well, you know what I'm saying? We're so used to picking up a book and studying how to do something or being taught how to be ourselves, so to speak, that's hard for many to wrap their minds around. You get what I'm trying to
You
say?
have you have some good instructional manuals on the processes, but what most people will run from it because if the title say self-help, they don't help themselves. Hell no, they not finna read that shit. Crime drama, let me in. That's if they even that's even if they gonna read something. Give me some Anne Rice. You know what I'm saying? Some DC Andrews.
Dig that.
They want to read that kind of stuff. They don't want to read nothing that might induce them to rebel against the system. Wake up to how to wake up to their power. As you wake up to your power, they can't stop you.
Okay, so in real life, I'm like a life coach, right? So what I've found out, especially now, is so many people are afraid of their power. Isn't that crazy?
Because the system is systemic. This is systemic in the system. It was designed that way.
Hmm.
It's psychological arrested development. It's a child's behavior to their natural and innate talents being so wonderful that it draws the attention of others around them. It's a child's behavior that's carried into adulthood. The only reason it works is because the educational network is designed to render you to suspend critical thinking and practical problem solving for instructional ability to follow orders. All the way in the university. In university, if it's not peer reviewed, accepted reference, you can't use that.
Okay. Mhm.
Right? So now, no matter what you believe, you got to go find one of they people to tell you what that somebody else other than you believe what you just told them. So now you need some dead motherfucker to validate the living man.
That's
They
it.
don't believe you. They don't believe themselves. They know they lied to us and they think that we falling for the lies. But when they realize that we are not falling for the lies, that we using our real eyes to realize these real lies they've been telling. So we start telling the other people, it becomes contagious that we see the tricks and the traps, and that sets us free. Because even if you don't want to be free, the gate wide open, and the energy of freedom is magnetic. You're just gonna walk through that motherfucker. You're not staying in this cave. And this is the same trap. They psychological arrested development through a 12-step thinking detox program called modern education, set up by the Rothschilds and the Bilderbergs to turn humans with infinite potential into subjugated workers with a desire to work to fulfill the needs of the person and his immediate family. And this is why they use the discriminatory tactics of racism, because those tactics is going to cause us to try to overtake their system according to the laws of nature. And that's how you end up with integration in the end. And it was the goal the whole time.
That's it.
The great melding pot. How do you get people that don't want to meld together to meld together? You tell them they can't. And then you give them some dumb reason and back it up by science.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? It's like, I don't know. It's the same pattern over and over again.
You back it up with religion.
That's so true.
You use religion to back it up. The same lie.
Mm,
They say God created somebody to be better than somebody else. That's not God. Who is this nigga?
that part.
My mom, God, no respecters and no persons. Ain't no big eyes and no little U's. And my growth and development literature told me that ain't no big eyes and no little U's. So them two things coincide. I don't bullshit. God didn't make nobody to be better than nobody else. He just made them to be different.
That's it.
The skeletal cranial structure of Michael Jordan did not need to be the same cranial skeletal structure as William the Refrigerator Perry in order for them to both do great things in their respective sports. But if you would have tried to switch places with them, they'd have looked like some befuggling idiots.
That's it.
They both outside their element. As long as you use them in their element, you get the optimum performance anytime.
For their optimal good. Yes.
That's how you find your zone. Once you feel that zone, you can't go back. That's why one mother that's feels safe at home in the kitchen and she looking at her babies playing and playing on their gadgets on the couch and she's scanning the room and then she see her significant other outside doing whatever with the damn dogs and then she realized this is home.
Yeah.
That energy hit, blah.
You even breathe different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you start nesting and everybody start accusing you of have OCD.
That part.
They don't know you live walking in that divine mother energy, and it might look like OCD because they had to tell us that the woman in that love energy like that is something wrong with them. That's nesting. The higher the motherly frequency and that love of the being a mother, playing that mother role is, the more you're gonna nest. You're gonna be pruning. making yourself up your way.
That's
You
it.
might want feathers in your hair. That flower you picked off your own garden this morning, it was so pretty, it looked good right here behind my ear today.
That's it.
That's that energy. Now, if all of the women can be safe in that energy, the whole energy of the planet shifts to having, but they can't feel safe because the warring patriarchs have the energy upset with the bloodletting rituals. And that's what the communion at the church is. And that's why you was born a sinner. It's a sin right.
Wow. Yeah.
Babylonian blood magic, simulated cannibalism ritual. In the spirit realm, the energy is the same. Eat of my flesh, drink of my blood.